This past week, Peter Hegseth, the Secretary of War, has come out and actually slammed the free press for doing their job and for reporting the news. My name is Steve Kostick. You're listening to Political Blowback. We're so glad you could join us. Folks, I'm going to play a little clip of the Peter Hegseth address, pretty much in its entirety, and it is a brief clip, so bear with us. But what I'd like to do is play this clip in segments, and I'd like to offer some comments and intersperse some of my introspections in amongst those comments. So let's play the clip.
Passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies.
We're going to keep advancing. We're going to keep pressing. Where there's going to be no mercy for our enemies, etc., etc., etc. So for the first 26 seconds of his address, he's actually performing somewhat his function in keeping the American people and the citizens of the globe apprised of what their progress is. So far, it's probably far removed from something like a really well-respected Secretary of Defense like Colin Powell would have done. But okay, he started out okay. Let's listen.
Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do.
Okay, so it appears like he never left the television business, because it's at that point that he's left his duty to apprise the American people and the citizens of the globe of the progress that his department is making, and now he's going to step into this seemingly new role as the Secretary of Propaganda. And one of the last things he said in that little segment that I played you is that he referenced that Iran, they actually murder civilians and attacks energy infrastructure. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because one of the very first things that the United States of America did on pretty much day one of this assault on Iran is they mercilessly wiped out 175 schoolgirls while they were in school getting an education, preparing for a lifetime of dreams. And I don't care if you're talking about Peter Hegseth, Donald Trump, or Vladimir Putin. This is the new normal, right? They'll say to you, oh, well, we're launching a war against Iran. Well, one of the first things they do is cause suffering and death amongst civilians. They're not targeting military targets. They are targeting civilians. We saw this same shit when it came to Vladimir Putin in his invasion of Ukraine. Okay? The suffering. hitting residential buildings, hitting train stations, hitting restaurants, hitting nurseries, hitting daycares. Like, my question is, when the hell is this bullshit going to stop? I'm sorry for being poignant. We saw enormous suffering in Gaza. People who have no political aspirations may not have had any interest in the bantering between Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas. They just want to live their life. But these people are always the first people that fall victim to these absolutely insane leaders who I mentioned previously. Let's listen to a
passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies. Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted. Or more fake news from CNN. Reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course.
Well, aren't you the wise one? So you knew about the impact on the Strait of Hormuz, and I'm assuming then you would understand that it was going to cost not only the American people, but also the citizens around the globe. It was going to cost them an enormous economic impact, which would cause people around this planet to spend hundreds of dollars out of pocket in additional fuel costs and risk the world recession. So you knew about all this because you're smart, but you went ahead and did it anyways. Oh, yes, and don't, please, I should mention this too, that I'm sure that if we were having a conversation right now, Mr. Hegseth, you would say to me, oh, yes, but we're protecting the world because Iran has nuclear weapons, and we have to make sure that those nuclear weapons are obliterated. Yes, I understand perfectly what you're saying, Mr. Hegseth, but I'm going to remind you about something. When George W. Bush invaded Iraq and caused an enormous war at great expense to the American people, the reason he did that was that he claimed that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. So George Bush was saying, I'm going to take care of business, and we're going to really spank Iraq here because they've got weapons of mass destruction. And what did we find out in hindsight? That there were no weapons of mass destruction. So you go on the hot seat. You explain to the people. You show them the evidence. It's incumbent upon you to come clean and bring the evidence right before the people. Otherwise, you can say whatever the hell you want. Iran's got nuclear weapons. Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying that every month of his life, as far as I can see. Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from Iran having nuclear weapons. 2 weeks away, 2 weeks away. Okay? And Benjamin Netanyahu jerked Donald Trump's chain. And next thing you know, we find ourselves in a global conflict that's going to cause recession all the way around the world and is going to cause inflation all the way around the world. And you sit on that podium and trivialize it like you're the victim. When the press speaks, why don't you do yourself a favor and listen for a change and learn from the criticism? Let's listen to some more.
For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday: war widening.
Oh, Mr. Hegseth, the war isn't widening. Of course, it's gone to the point now where leaders across the globe are panicking over what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. You've got all the member Gulf states that are being attacked. You've got Israel attacking Lebanon. They're attacking Beirut. And the entire Middle East is in a state of chaos now. But the war isn't widening. You know, sooner or later, we gotta stop this shit. The Secretary of War, which should be called the Secretary of Defense, needs to report the progress of the war and stop this bloody propaganda, which is just bullshit. I gotta go. Have a good day.